Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and before we get into my 15 4Ks that I think are most likely to come out in 2025, I want to ask that if you haven't yet hit that subscribe button, hit that subscribe button for me. Also like this video and then comment down below, guys, what are some 4Ks that you think are going to be coming out in 2025? And also, where do you think they're going to be coming from? The studio, the boutique label? Where do you see those movies winding up? Now, I do want to make the distinction. We are talking about 15 4Ks that I think are likely to happen in 2025. Not necessarily the ones that I want to happen the most. That's probably going to be a separate list a little bit later, just talking about some of my dream releases, some movies that I really want to see hit that 4K format. Not that I don't want to see these come out in 4K this year. There's some absolute bangers in here that I'm super excited that hopefully we will be getting, but these are the ones that I just think are the most likely out of all the other movies to come out on 4K in the year of 2025. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Without further ado, let's start with a big one right off the bat and talk about The Breakfast Club. Now, I do have physical versions of some of these titles and some I don't yet, so I'm not going to have to double dip for some of these if they get 4K releases. But The Breakfast Club, I do have the Universal Blu-ray. I never got the Criterion release because I just assumed that this would be getting a 4K at some point, either from Criterion or from Universal, and it hasn't come yet. I don't know how. Maybe the most popular John Hughes movie, next to maybe Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, hasn't gotten a 4K release. Like, that just doesn't compute for me. And the only logical reason would be they're waiting for the 40th anniversary to put this out, which is this year. So this movie came out in 1985, which is the year I was born. I turned 40 this year, guys. Oh my goodness. So The Breakfast Club, like, this has got to, if there's any year this is coming out on 4K, it has to be this year. The only question is Universal going to put this out on 4K, or are they going to give it to Criterion to do the 4K? I am hoping that they give it to Criterion to do the 4K, but it's very possible Universal puts this out as well, does a nice steelbook with it. That is also possible. But with the Criterion release, we're going to get those special features that they did with the Blu-ray release. And since I never grabbed that, I would like to get those special features with that 4K. And I think overall Criterion, they do a really good job with their 4K. So I'd be excited to see what The Breakfast Club on 4K looks like from the Criterion collection. But there you have it, guys. That is my first pick. The next one on my list, guys, likely 4Ks to come out in 2025 would be Brazil, Terry Gilliam's Brazil. And I don't actually have this one in the collection. I've been holding off because I've been thinking they're going to upgrade this one to 4K, because Criterion seems to like to upgrade all of Terry Gilliam films to 4K, at least the ones that they have. The Fisher King, Time Bandits, there was also another one they did earlier last year. But yeah, I do think this one will be getting a Criterion 40th anniversary edition this year in 2025. Next up, guys, is one that may be controversial because this one seems to be the least liked in the franchise. Well, next to Vegas Vacation, but European Vacation, I think, will be getting a 4K from Warner Brothers in 2025. This is the 40th anniversary of National Lampoon's European Vacation. And yeah, again, it's one that's not as well revered as the other vacation films, but I think it's okay. I would love to see Vegas in 4K, but I do feel like they would do European in 4K before they did Vegas in 4K. So this is one that I could see getting a 40th anniversary edition, because I can honestly see Warner Brothers doing all the vacation films in 4K at some point. And if they do European, they will most certainly do Vegas. So I'm counting on this one just to get to Vegas, honestly. I mean, I like this one. It's okay. But honestly, it's like my least watched in the entire franchise. But European Vacation, is there any takers for this one? You want a nice steelbook for European Vacation? Let me know in the comments section below. Okay. Next one is kind of a no-brainer. Actually, the next two are kind of no-brainers. I may even like put them together. But Clueless and Casper, I think that both of these will be getting 4K releases in 2025. Clueless, it's the 30th anniversary. I think Paramount will probably put this one out. Probably a steelbook, a 4K slipcover version. And Casper, this is Universal's, and I could see them doing a 30th anniversary edition, 4K and a 4K Steelbook of this one as well. I just don't see why they wouldn't do either one of these titles this year, 30th anniversary. They're both beloved films that a lot of people love, and these are ones that would sell, guys. They would definitely sell. So those are the next two. Now getting into my number 6. As far as most likely 4Ks in 2025, we have got Wolfgang Petersen's The Perfect Storm coming to 4K. So I could definitely see this one coming out in 2025. Like I said, 25th anniversary, directed by Wolfgang Petersen. We've gotten a number of his films on 4K recently, and I think that Warner Brothers would definitely be the one to put this one out. I mean, it's possible it could get like an Arrow Video box set edition. I could see that happening. Maybe a Criterion edition, or maybe in Australia, maybe it'll get a release from Imprint, like the Never Ending Story or an Umbrella release or something like that. But I think the most likely scenario is that they put it out through Warner Brothers on 4K, maybe a Steelbook as well. But yeah, The Perfect Storm. And I think that will look fantastic on 4K as well. And next up, guys, we have Kingdom of Heaven. I could definitely see them putting out Ridley Scott's Kingdom of Heaven. Now, the only thing with this one is it is a 20th Century Fox Disney title. We have gotten rumblings recently, though, that they are working on a 4K of this one. So I do think that Disney is going to play a little bit more ball when it comes to putting out some of their catalog of releases for Fox and Touchstone and Hollywood Pictures in 2025. I think they're going to be doing more stuff with Sony, putting that stuff out. So Kingdom of Heaven, I do think we will get a 20th anniversary edition. Now, will it be the director's cut, the theatrical cut? Will it be both? I mean, that is yet to be seen. I can't really speculate on that, but I do think that Kingdom of Heaven, based on the rumors that we got about a month and a half ago, will be coming to 4K at some point in 2025. And next up, guys, I have the physical version of this one. We have Sin City on 4K. Now, this is one that was rumored back in the very early days of me doing the Physical Media Report. I remember talking about this back in 2021. And I think that they're still working on it. I mean, I think that this one is still in the works. Now, this is a Miramax title, and Lionsgate actually put out this Blu-ray, but I don't know if Lionsgate still owns Sin City or if it's owned by Paramount now, because the rights with Miramax kind of split between Lionsgate and Paramount. So I could see, this coming out through Paramount, just a 4K edition, a 4K Steelbook edition, but I could also see them licensing this one out. It's also a Dimension film. They just did The Faculty as well. I could see maybe, possibly, guys, Scream Factory doing a 4K release of Sin City. I could see that happening, but I would love to see Sin City on 4K, 20th anniversary edition. I think this movie would look incredible in the 4K format, just with that mix of black and white and a little bit of splash of color that's in it as well. I think it could look amazing. They could do some really incredible things with this film in 4K. So personally, I would love to see Sin City on 4K. Next up, guys, my number 9. And I've talked about this one recently on the Physical Media Report, but I had it already on my list, so I thought I would bring it up again. But Neil Marshall's The Descent, I think almost 100% will be coming out on 4K in 2025. I think it will be getting a 20th anniversary 4K Steelbook edition from Lionsgate. I would love it if they did a second sight edition. Neil Marshall was just on Twitter or Instagram pretty much like denying the fact that they're working on a second sight edition. I would love it if he wasn't telling the truth, if he was just trying to keep it as a surprise. And they're doing a second sight 4K and also doing a Lionsgate Steelbook 4K. I think that would be fantastic. And this movie totally deserves it. Just one of the best horror films of the 2000s. Like, I love The Descent, so I would certainly love to see this movie come to 4K. And the next one that I think is likely to come out, my 10th movie that is likely to come out on 4K in 2025 is 2005's Fantastic Four. So we have a new movie in this franchise, in this universe, coming out this year. So I think this will kind of be a no-brainer for Sony and Disney to put out through 20th Century Fox. And yeah, I just don't see why they wouldn't want to do this, to pull this movie back into the zeitgeist, to get people hyped up for the new Fantastic Four movie coming out. And like I said, I think Disney's going to play around a little bit more with putting out some of their catalog films from Fox and Touchstone and Hollywood Pictures on 4K in 2025. So I do think we'll get Fantastic Four from 2005 on 4K. And personally, I like the movie. I remember liking it back in the day, and I would love to watch it on 4K and just kind of reminisce with the film from back in the day. So if you want to see Fantastic, not Fan 4 Stick on 4K, guys, we can leave that one back in the past. We don't need that. But Fantastic Four from 2005, that was pretty decent, right? it was pretty, I haven't seen it in a while. Maybe it's not pretty decent. But my next one, guys, is the Hateful Eight. I think most certainly we're going to be getting this on 4K. Also Django, which I don't have on my list. I probably should have, but I can just put it in with this since it's the other Tarantino film that we're going to get this year. But the Hateful Eight is celebrating its 10th anniversary, so I think we're for sure getting this 4K edition, probably a nice 4K steelbook from Lionsgate. This is also a film that I think would look absolutely gorgeous in 4K, so I am chomping at the bit to get this on 4K and Django on 4K. Nice 4K steelbooks from Lionsgate. So yeah, the Hateful Eight. And the next one, guys, then the next three, actually, I don't have physical versions of. I can't believe I don't own these films in the collection. They're such classic films. But One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is celebrating its 50th anniversary. And I do think that either Warner Brothers or the Criterion Collection will be putting this one out this year. I could see Warner Brothers just going ahead and doing this themselves. They're actually doing a lot of their classic stuff themselves. So I could see them maybe putting this one out through Warner Archive as well. I think that's a possibility. But also, they license their stuff out as well, and I could totally see them giving this to Criterion to put out with hopefully a lot of great special features as well. But also, like, it is such an iconic movie, I feel like, to that studio that it's probably the most likely that Warner Brothers, like if they didn't just do or just announce Amadeus to come to 4K, I would think maybe there's a possibility, but the fact that they're putting that one out on 4K would pretty much indicate that they're probably also doing One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest in 4K. But either way, great classic film, Jack Nicholson. I freaking love this movie. It's been forever since I've seen it, so it's definitely due for a rewatch, and I would be super happy to get to see this one on 4K. And the next film I think we're very likely to see in 2025, at least I hope we're very likely to see this one in 2025 because I love this film, but that is Sidney Lumet's Dog Day Afternoon with Al Pacino. This is its 50th anniversary this year in 2025. Now this one, unlike One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, I could honestly see this one getting a Criterion, but it's also owned by Warner Brothers, so I could also see them putting it out on 4K with maybe a steelbook as well. But I do think with this one, it's a great film. And honestly, I think I like it just a little bit more than One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. But I could see Warner Brothers like not being as big of a one for Warner Brothers as One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest is. So I could see them letting Criterion, put this one out on 4K. And honestly, like I hope they do because I think it could make a fantastic Criterion edition. But Dog Day Afternoon, I watched this for the first time, I think, back in 2020. And I absolutely love this film. So I am super excited to get to rewatch this one in 4K. Hopefully it actually does get announced this year. Again, this one, I think it's pretty possible it's coming out, but it's also kind of a long shot pick. We haven't really heard any rumblings or anything like that. So hopefully we do get Dog Day Afternoon on 4K in 2025. Next up, guys, we have The Sound of Music. I think this is very likely to probably get a 4K finally. In 2025, this is going to be the 60th anniversary of this film. It is owned by Disney now. So, and again, it's always a toss-up with Disney, but I think it's time they finally pay respect to some of their classic films from back in the day, not just Star Wars and Marvel. I would love to see Bedknobs and Broomsticks come out on 4K. That was definitely a classic that I loved rewatching from my childhood. But The Sound of Music, guys, iconic film. It 100% would look fantastic in 4K, and it 100% needs a 4K. So hopefully Disney delivers that to us sometime in 2025. I would even take a curveball, though, and have that put out through the Criterion Collection, because I think that would make a great Criterion release as well. And the last one that we're going to talk about, guys, the 15th title on my list that I think is very likely to come to 4K in 2025 is Final Destination. So this is another one where we have a new Final Destination movie coming out this year. I think it actually comes out in like March or April or maybe May. So this one would have to be announced pretty soon to coincide with that release. But it's also the 25th anniversary of the first movie. I could see this, because it's a New Line film, I could see this coming out through Warner Bros. I could see them putting this one out on 4K, but I could also see them licensing this one out to Scream Factory, or maybe, possibly, I could really see this happening, maybe an Arrow Video box set. I could see them doing an Arrow Video, maybe not just for the first one, But the 5 Final Destination movies, I could see them doing it some kind of a box set of the Final Destination films. And I would be all for it. I definitely love the first 3 Final Destinations. After that, it's kind of hit or miss with the 4th and the 5th one. But I think the first 3 are great. So I would love a nice 4K box set of the Final Destination movies. So there you have it, guys. That is my 15 that I think are likely to come to 4K. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, let me know some of your picks in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, follow me on all my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description. And don't forget to turn on those bell notifications for all future videos. And we'll see you next time.